Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all. Living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chillin' with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all. Living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chillin' with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chillin' with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chillin' with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber.
What's going on, guys? Family Entertainment here from Level1Gaming.com. And congratulations, you guys leveled up to 129. This is the Double XP podcast. Thank you guys for rocking with us once again. We're a little bit short tonight. A couple of our members could not make it, but they will return here next week. We do have a special guest with us tonight, the man with probably the greatest camera I've ever seen in my life. Greatest camera ever. We will introduce him in just a moment, but first, the man, actually, I'm not on screen right now, but I'm coming. The man to my right, whoa, pause.
Sir.
Ah!
Sir.
Pause.
Sir.
Pause.
Crazy.
Sorry.
Sir.
My face will be present soon. The man to my right, the man with the clamps, Citizen Snips.
Going on, everybody? Another wonderful Wednesday ahead for us. We got Miles here, an awesome guest. With I got to see what camera he's got, and I don't know if I can afford it, so I might just have to steal his. But the reason, we are, as you guys have noticed, we are missing quite a few people here today. I regret to inform you all that I am steadily eliminating all the other members of the podcast, so that soon it will just be me.
So you're the imposter.
There's no resistance. Resistance is futile. This takeover will be permanent. But yeah, aside from that, enjoy the show, guys, for however long it lasts.
Next up, my right hand, man, the floor hugger with the hard R.
He's never gonna drop that.
Nope.
Yeah, I know he's not. What's up, y'all? How you doing? We are here. I'm so glad Miles is here with us, and hope you guys enjoy what we got to talk about. I hope you enjoy the topics we talk about. If we're wrong, please, like the guy who was a couple weeks ago that said I was wrong about everything. Please leave it in the comment section below because I love it. And let's get into it.
She loves being wrong as long as she's not wrong to Snips. That's just the fact of life. Next up, we have on his first time on the WP podcast, Miles Morales, everybody, straight from the Spider-Man game, baby. Let's go.
What is up, gamers?
Hey, no lie, if they cast Miles Morales in a movie, they probably would make him look like him because they like Hollywood.
I don't think I would accept that role, but
we do have Miles.
Thanks for having me on. Pretty stoked to be here.
We appreciate you and your one arm coming in and blessing us today.
Making it happen.
Hey, man, I appreciate you making us. If I only had one arm at the moment, I'm slinking around. Like, look, bro, I'm not coming onto your podcast. I'm in pain. But you're just such a hell of a good guy, man. And I was super excited that you were able to come out fresh off of surgery. And so I'm glad that everything went well. I'm glad you came out just fine, and it's good.
Doing all right.
Yes,
no
man.
Coma or anything like that. So let's go.
That's a blessing. So before we get started, first timers, we like to kind of dive into you a little bit, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So if you could,
let's get into it.
That's title of our sex tape.
So if you could tell the people a little bit about you, who you are, and the company that you work for.
Yeah, so my name is Miles Dompierre. I'm a gamer, and I'll leave it at that. No.
I like it.
All right.
That caught me off guard.
I am a gamer, and that's all you need to know, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, I work for Windows Central, so I'm pretty much their main video producer. We have kind of a subsect of Windows Central called Windows Central Gaming, specifically. So I pretty much do most of the video stuff for those guys. I work directly with Jez Corden, which a lot of you guys know. But that's kind of where I spend most of my time. That's my work for the most part. And then outside of that, I'm a big Xbox player, generally speaking.
My man.
And that's it. That's about it.
So how did you get into doing the video production for when? Like, how did you get into it or want to get into that field?
So I went to school for audio production, so that's kind of my background. I studied with a guy who was actually the voice of Bowser for a lot of the Mario games when I was in college.
All right.
When I lived in Seattle. So I did a lot of commercial voiceover work originally, like just for radio, very commercial stuff. And then started running like some Xbox blogs, if you will, for a while. And then from there, I actually just reached out. They were looking for a full-time Pokemon writer, actually. And I'm a big Pokemon guy. So I was like,
me too.
Screw it. I'll throw my name in the hat. And then they looked at my resume and like, oh, you do video work? And I'm like, yeah. And so kind of started from there. Started doing primarily like social video, just text overlays and stuff like that. And then kind of have transitioned to be, I guess, more or less the voice and the face of Windows Central Gaming.
Oh, God, I know how that feels because apparently it's the Hugger and Company podcast. So,
The Floor Hugger, she is the face of level1gaming.com. She is the face of She is the face of us. Like, no one wants.
Who's gonna kill me?
Honestly, do you want to see this?
That's with the rest of us, okay?
Do you want to see this, or do you want to see her Floor Hugger? Honestly, right? They don't come for us.
Like, let's be honest though. We kind of want to see Miles right now.
So, Miles, I have to ask you this. So we've had many a debate on this podcast before. Which generation of Pokemon is the best generation of Pokemon?
Oh god, no. Good thing Demi's
Which
not here.
generation is the best? I'm not one of the boomers who's going to tell you Gen 1 is the best, because that's kind of...
Well, that was WXP Podcast. See y'all next week.
All right, Miles.
Don't get me wrong, Gen 1 is how I got started. Pokemon Blue for life, but I'd probably say Gen 5 is probably my favorite of all the Pokemon generations. Trubbish is an all-time legend. Vanillish, Vanillite, the whole line, legendary. I just like that they got super weird with it, because that's kinda, it's more my vibe. Let's get weird with it.
Speaking of weird, Glizzy God, which I think is Misogynist Prime, says, Miles, I'm not gay, but rawr.
Dang,
Speaking of weird.
we getting spicy in here already?
I would've
2 minutes
thought- I
in?
would've thought
You
that
beautiful
was,
man.
Oh,
I would've thought that was
dang.
Demi's
What's
alt.
up?
It might be Demi's alt, we don't know. Gen 5, okay.
Man.
Okay,
Yeah,
now,
I mean, I love them
what's
all.
your-
Let's be real, but yeah, Gen
that's
5
true,
all
okay.
day.
Favorite
Charmander
gen of
disagrees.
Yu-Gi-Oh?
Favorite gen of Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah. Because if you say 5D, you
None of
gotta
them.
go.
None of them after
Well, I
that.
was
It
gonna
got
say
weird
just
after the
none.
original.
Yeah,
can I
none
say
of them made any
none?
sense after that.
Can I say not a single one is good? Or
Not
is
a
that
Yu-Gi-Oh
acceptable?
fan.
I mean, yeah, you can, because even the original is
I
funky.
watched Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day, but I was never got too big into Yu-Gi-Oh or Digimon. But
So-
Monster Rancher though, let's go.
Oh, that's another good one, yeah.
Demigod, you not agree with Gen 5? Let us know, Demi. Demi's like Gen 5. Listen, we all know, and we can't say...
Demi's young.
We'll sit here forever, okay? 'Cause we've spent, and Huggers wanted to cut our throats off, many of podcasts wasting time talking Pokemon, okay? All I have to say is...
I'm here for it, but
Charizard disagrees. Gen 1. And it may because maybe because I'm old, right? I'll be 33
You
next
are old.
month.
Well,
I'll be
you know, we'll get
33
Miles
next
on
month.
here, and I'll dip out. You guys have your Pokemon podcast, and I'll just
One
be on
day.
the side like, shut up.
One day, I've said it before, we're gonna have that Pokemon episode, and Miles, you have to come back so we can
yeah,
just talk.
if you want to talk Pokemon for like
Pokemon.
6 hours, I'm here.
That's what I'm
All
talking
I
about.
know, when it comes to the discussion of best gen, no amount of reasoning or logic will ever outweigh childhood nostalgia. Okay, and that's why
That's
Gen
true.
1 crushes
Gen-
everything. All right.
Everybody loves Gen 1 for that. I get it. I love Gen 1. Don't get me wrong, but we got to grow and evolve. All right.
Never. That's for Pokemon.
You know what?
The people stay the
I
same.
agree with that.
Evolving
Because-
is part of the whole damn series. Okay? God.
I agree
Tell
with
that,
him.
tell that to Ash in his same outfit, okay? Man ain't changed clothes for like a decade.
He got 30 pairs of the same outfit.
See,
It makes it work. What can
I'm a
I say?
Munchlax. I evolved into a Snorlax, and that's as far as it goes. So Gen 1, Gen 1 it is, baby.
But I think we can all agree it's about evolution, because
it is.
I mean, look at the first, veering off topic, look at the first evolution of Assassin's Creed. We go back, I kind of hate the original Assassin's Creed. You can't swim. Don't really like, the newer versions, but you hit that sweet spot, and you find your spot right in there, and that sweet spot. Pause. Title of our sex tape. But we
There's
got
been so
it.
many pause
We
moments in
find
this
it.
podcast, and we're like 10 minutes in.
I was gonna say it's been a steamy episode so far.
It's hot. We spicy. We spicy people. What can I say?
We're gonna have to start doing a after dark episode. We keep on, and it's all by accident. I don't know if we're just like naturally like
I mean,
dirty
that's what
minded
happens.
people, but jeez.
Yeah, pulling a Charles Boyle where we just, gotta have weird innuendos on everything.
So would you call it like triple XP or what? What would be
Oh, Miles.
I like this guy.
Miles, I never even, God, how much?
that one's for free on the house.
That was okay. I'm
Since I've eliminated some of our other regulars, you want to just take one of their spots? Like, I'm just,
Yeah, let's just dive in. Let's fill up that plate for me.
coming soon. The Triple XP podcast,
Triple XP.
and it'll be hosted on Huggers OnlyPans, and we can make it
Yeah,
happen
OnlyPants.
on her
where
OnlyPans.
it's gotta be,
Oh my God, it's been 10 minutes in, and Miles, we already love you even more than we did before. That's awesome.
You
So
can take some spots if you ever want to.
let's get started with the
Give
top.
me a
of the-
Django. I'm around.
All right. I'm on. Maybe next time you'll be two arming it then. So let's get started with the first topic. The PlayStation. I think a lot of people have misread the news of PlayStation supposedly recording your audio in your parties, right? So this update came out.
Highlights.
The update came out, and the hashtag PS4 parties was trending. Everyone was upset. This is crap. PlayStation is recording our parties. If you actually read what's going on, what they're saying is people can record your PS4 parties and send them to Sony to help them regulate, I guess, against bullying, whatever the case may be. In turn, I think anyone with a PC and hooking it up to OBS could record the audio in the first place, right? This isn't anything that's like groundbreaking new if you have a capture card. But I do want to get y'all's thoughts on what kind of issues this could cause in a party. For example, we're all cool. Me, Snips, Hugger, Miles, we're all cool. I have a weird vendetta against Miles. We're in a party chat, and I know in our party chat that Miles, he begins to talk about how much he hates feet. I don't know. Pick something, right? And so I go to Sony and say, look, Miles is just discriminating against feet, and then they ban you. Like, I want to know y'all thoughts on like what kind of snowball effect this sort of thing can have.
Why do you gotta go with feet? The example.
I don't know. I don't know why I went with feet. Right? It just feet is safe. You can say, but
Feet's safe. It's safe.
I want to start with Miles.
Shaming here. All right.
What kind of
we don't
precedents?
kink shame except for feet.
What kind of precedents, Miles, you think this to set? And what kind of snowball effect you think this could have for gamers moving forward?
Well, I got a friend politely call out some people I've seen on Twitter who are saying that they're going to jump over to the Xbox side because PlayStation is recording our party chats. And Xbox has been recording your party chats since Xbox 360 as well.
Yep.
Also, if you have a smartphone, you better not have a smartphone and be complaining about your party chat being recorded because you don't get those targeted ads by accident. Your phone is recording everything you're saying all the time. It's one of those things where there's not a weirdo sitting in a room listening to every single person's conversation and picking through it. Basically, what that says is, if the FBI has a subpoena for whatever reason, because there were reports that with like terrorist groups were using PlayStation 4 chat to like meet because there was no sort of restrictions or anything like that. The FBI can subpoena those records and take those voice clips and use them. That's pretty much the only time they're going to be used. I think it is to kind of like limit some sort of discrimination and stuff like that, some hate speech that goes on. But I mean, it's just kind of part of being on the internet nowadays. Like, I don't personally take a huge offense to it. I'm not really doing anything too sketchy, thankfully. So I guess, maybe if I was doing some more illicit or illegal activities, I might care. But it's one of those things where if you want to be off the grid, you got to commit. You can't use the internet. You can't go online. You can't have a phone. If you don't want people to hear what you're saying, those are the lengths you have to go to. So it is what it is. I mean, if you're going to boycott PlayStation for it, then you have to boycott Xbox. And, if Nintendo didn't have absolutely garbage voice chat, that you'd have to boycott Nintendo as well.
Facts.
But that's just where we're at. I don't know.
Snips.
I think.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead, love. That was you.
No. You know what? Kev always gets talked over. Kevin. I know, my love.
I'm just having a moment.
Put your thoughts out
No,
there.
I mean it's like I said, people who are freaking out about this have never read any end user license agreement that they've ever clicked and agreed that they signed.
No one reads that stuff.
It's 40 pages, dude.
You really
Come
should.
on.
You really should. There's some very interesting stuff in there. There was one. I
so
think it was
interesting.
kind of off topic, but I want to mention this while I'm thinking about it. There was one in for Baldur's Gate 3. At the very end, it's like, hey, by agreeing to this, like, you're agreeing that, a year from now, you're going to submit to a challenge where you have to, like, submit a clip of yourself yodeling or, like, something ridiculous like that to be entered into, like, our Baldur's Hall of Fame. And if you don't do it, well, then you won't be a legend. It's like they can sneak in crap like that. But, like, there's all sorts of stuff in there, man. And it's, if you own a mobile phone, like Miles was saying, if you've played online for whether PlayStation, Microsoft, or PC, you're being recorded anyway. This isn't anything new. People are just grabbing whatever they can, and they didn't realize it was a thing before because they're either dumb or they want something to start a fire with. So this is what they go for, and they try and make a big deal out of it. But this has all been happening, man. This isn't anything new. The only people who like are getting nervous are the COD players, because if you've ever joined a COD lobby, man, them boys say some stuff. Woo! So,
Ooh,
but
it's nasty in there.
This isn't anything new. This is people latching onto something to try and fuel console war flames that really have no business existing in the first place. It's the same with the whole overheating issues or all the other crap that they come up with on a daily basis, because it seems they just don't have anything better to do. So it's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah.
My sister.
You know, maybe I'm coming at this from a sore angle from, gaming news has been slow this week, but gaming celebrities has been kind of hot, especially, I'm looking at you, Rooster Teeth, has been hot. So maybe this could be a way of like a verified minor entrap, like then you get into the entrapment laws and stuff. But I just don't understand why people are, maybe I'm slow or something, don't understand why people are up in arms. I mean, there's apps on your phone that you can put it on your desk and that it will track your keystrokes. It can hear on your keyboard where you're tracking. I just don't understand what the big issue is about. Everybody's listening. You use social media, everybody's listening. You use Twitter, everybody's watching. You think you're safe? No, you got to be a Luddite almost to not have a social media footprint. And Kevin's right. This is just a flame of social. The console wars. I'm past the console wars. I don't really care. Play what you want to play. Play what you don't want to play. Go enjoy gaming. But if you're gonna make an issue about, they're listening on us. Remember when Xbox launched their were they about to launch their Always Online? You gotta sign in at least daily, and people are like, no, we're not doing that, and they changed that. This is the bottom of the fine print. Y'all read that shit. It's there. You know me, I don't give a crap about all this stuff, and just the people losing their minds about it. It's like, man, it must be a slow news week.
See, I think
there's bigger things to worry about.
I think it's like, funny thing about Xbox, how everyone freaked out when they say, "Hey, the Xbox One is built in, it's coming with the Kinect," and everyone's like, "I don't want Phil Spencer looking at my left heel." It was stupid, right? Everyone freaks out. I mean, we all have cameras right now. If Donald Trump wanted to, he can look up your nose and see how pretty Miles' room
cameras.
is right now.
Miles has a camera,
real camera. See, I think this is more of people exposing themselves and not really reading or understanding how gaming works. I look at it more of that than some people like Miles said, I'm gonna go to Xbox now because I'm like, are you saying that because you want like clout, or you not really truly understanding what's being said? Suhei Yoshida is not sitting in his room listening to Big Papa 1784 and what he's been saying. The point is, he doesn't care, right? So I think this is it's much to do about nothing. I think the fact that it went viral, it was something we had to talk about. But I'm hoping at this point that people have decided, okay, I look stupid, let's delete tweets, because really this is much to do about nothing. This has been going on forever, and it's not Sony just listening. I mean, of course, someone's listening in if they have to, but it's more about users sending your party chat cliff notes to Sony.
So, and on that note too, because I forgot to touch on that when you mentioned that when you originally made the statement. If somebody really wanted to kind of entrap you like that and record something, there's an infinite number of ways for them to do that already. They could record it on their phone. You can. My mom wanted a recording device for something the other day on Amazon in 2 seconds, and I had one shipped to her like the next day. There have been means at your disposal to do that. It's not like, haha, now that PlayStation does it, I'm gonna get you, you son of a gun. It's been there if that's really what you want to do. People with ill intent are gonna find a way to make their nasty dreams a reality, regardless of what Sony's doing. So I don't think it's going to be impactful in that way.
So be careful.
That's the thing. It's at the bottom. This is just another level of we're moderating, but it's always been there. I said it. It's always been there. You join a party server, you join a party, whatever. You on Discord PC, you join a server. So there's somebody watching. Discord is not as secure as y'all would like to think it is. It's an open source software. Anybody can, do its things. this is what you want, the hill you want to die on, comparatively to other things that could be out there, come on, y'all. Really?
I will say this: when someone brought up Call of Duty and the 360, man, those things were toxic back in the day. But sometimes I miss it. Like I get into a lobby, headset on. Oh, you must be black, and I'm like, God, I miss it. Yes.
My favorite was, get in the kitchen. It's like, okay.
Good
I'm about to whoop your ass, but okay.
Some 11-year-old on Call of Duty, lighting you up.
Yeah.
My uncle works for Microsoft, and if you don't quit hacking, dude, you're going to get banned. The good days,
Cool.
man.
Just the glory days of online communication, dude.
Halo 2 multiplayer, man. That was some
Toxic.
I heard some things in there that would make Howard Stern blush, man.
Right?
Some of those kids were like doing research and homework.
I don't think
Say, man.
gamers now, or like the younger gamers now, like wouldn't have survived. Like you can tell a lot of gamers started gaming this gen. Like you can tell, like a lot of them started with a late PS3, PS4.
What was
they
that
wouldn't have
show we were
survived through
watching?
60 days.
That guy was like, oh yeah, I grew up playing Halo 4. You grew up playing Halo 4? What?
We grew into Halo 4. Like it was a part of a long stream of games.
Like, I was always worried about my 401k more than I was worried about Halo 4.
Right?
Dang kids, man.
We say this, and like Mouse is probably 19.
No, the first
Like
game I
my
ever
phone.
played was A Link to the Past on Super Nintendo. So
My man,
I'll
gamer. So we millennials.
The console she played on is in the clock cycle. She too young for you.
This is true. So yes, people, quit crying, quit being upset. PlayStation doesn't care that you're still a racist in party chats. You're just fine.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you do.
They really don't.
And do what you do. Next up, we did. We're beginning to hear about how games are going to run on the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S. We heard about Dirt 5 having a 4K 60 mode, having the 1440 120 hertz mode. But interesting take. We kind of heard about Yakuza 7, which stirred up a lot of controversy because it's only launching on the current gen consoles, Xbox Series X, and not the PS5. But we're hearing that on the Xbox Series S, and correct me if I'm wrong, it came out that the game is running at 900p, 60 frames per second. So, for anyone who was on the fence on whether to get an X or S, if you can even find one, do you guys think this is the norm, or is this the one-off when it comes to the Series S? And could that persuade people to say, you know what, I'm kind of done with the 900 weird Ps. I really want a game with the higher resolutions. I wonder what you guys think about this. And also, I could be wrong, but I don't see it optimized for Series X answer. That could be the deal. But I want to get your thoughts about this. Like, do you guys think this is the trend for the Series X? And could it, be something that's not, I don't want to say killed off fairly quickly, but it'd be an issue moving forward? I'm going to start with you, Hugger.
Well, here's the thing when we talk about all these new gens and all these things is 4K, all this. Most people still don't have 4K monitors, TVs, all kinds of things.
True.
So, and they're the people that are the loudest. Like, I want to run at 4K. We've talked about this. I would rather, like a game like Red Dead 2, I'd rather it run at 30 FPS, but be beautiful, because I don't need it to be, frame reliant. It's beautiful. I'm fishing for 100 hours. I'm a 90-year-old man. I don't care. But if I'm playing Overwatch, it's going to look like garbage, but my frame rate won't be spectacular. So the people that are going to go woo, 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 they don't have the tech. Or if they do, then you should be buying the higher edition, because you've obviously got some money to burn in this, Rona era. Doesn't matter. I don't understand the again, I don't understand the uproar. Came from an era where, you had one, the other. There was PlayStation and Nintendo. You didn't have anything else to choose from. I just don't know. Especially Assassin's Creed. We gotta get on that later. Assassin's Creed with their Valhalla specs have been driving me absolutely up the wall today. So, yeah. Miles, what do you think?
Yeah, because we all know Yakuza is never meant to be this visually stunning game, right? But like I said, Miles, we'll kind of present it to you again with us hearing that it would be 900p, 60 frames per second on the Series S. Do you think this could be an issue going forward if this is a continuation deeper into the gen for games on this particular console?
I think my biggest takeaway is we're going to have more options going into next gen, which is awesome. Just to clarify, the 900p is their like locked 60 FPS mode. There are some other options you have to increase that resolution if you want, but the 900p 60 is referring to their like performance, like frame rate locked 60 mode. So it's nice that we're seeing like Dirt 5 and Yakuza both have like 3 different options for I want the best graphics, kind of fluctuating frame rate, or I want the best frame rate possible. For me personally, that's huge in the console space because you always have a little more flexibility on PC. But I think it's more of an outlier. I think the reason it's not launching alongside PS5 is just because of the way PS5 is handling backwards compatibility. So this is almost just like getting a Xbox One game and having it just run better naturally on these systems, because from what I've seen, like watching Digital Foundry's deep dive, it's not very well optimized. Like graphically, there's no huge difference between the Xbox One version and the Xbox Series X and S. So my takeaway is that it wasn't really optimized. It just runs better on these consoles. You have some options, and to make sure you get that locked 60 on the Series S, they had to drop the resolution to 900. But I think this is more of an outlier. We're going to see that with this first wave of cross-gen games, because like even Cyberpunk, it's not getting its big patch until like February for the Xbox Series X and S. So it's just going to be an Xbox One game that will probably run slightly better on the new hardware. So I don't know. I'm not too upset. I would prefer to have the option of 900p 60 FPS to 1080 30 or less. But again, that's just me personally. I typically lean towards performance frame rate over resolution, but I think it really just shows to the fact that this game is not going to be that optimized for these consoles when it drops.
So as we get further, well, we have to start the gen first, right? But as we get into the gen, you have confidence that the Series S being a viable console, we're really getting that 1440p, 60 frames for a lot of games. You feel like it will survive the onslaught of, demanding games that we're bound to see as we move into the gen.
Yeah, I can say confidently with Gears 5 specifically. Gears 5 on the Series S runs beyond max settings on PC at 1400 or 1440p, 60 to 120 FPS. So that's kind of one testament to the power of that machine, is that Gears 5, which is one of the best looking games of this gen,
Yes,
hands down by a mile.
Underrated, actually, on how it
runs
looks.
beyond max settings of PC on the Series S. I also sat down with the team from Bloober, who's working on the Medium, and I asked them kind of point blank, like, you've been developing on the Xbox Series X, you've been developing on the Xbox Series S. Like, is the Series S holding back next gen? Like, I wanted to get a straight answer from people who have the dev kits and have worked on these machines. And they told me that resolution is going to be the biggest factor when it comes to being held back. They said all their processes, AI, stuff like that isn't going to be affected. The main difference that they see on their end is just resolution, 4K versus like 1440 for them with the Medium specifically. So,
Snips, Series S, 900p, Yakuza 7. Opinion!
I will say it was 900p was kind of odd for me. Like it just seemed like a weird resolution. But like Miles was saying, I think it's just an issue of optimization. I have a feeling that by the time in the game's development they actually got a final answer on, hey, here's exactly what kind of hardware is going to be in the S, and here's exactly what kind of hardware is going to be in the X. It was too late for them to make any kind of significant changes. So the adjustment down in resolution was to, okay, here's your guaranteed 60 frames mode, but I'm willing to bet at 1080p you're still going to be close to, if not exceeding 60 in a lot of the scenes, and then during the more busier, intense parts, it'll dip down below. But because of that dip, they couldn't, advertise 60 frames per second because that lowers the average, and they don't want to get in trouble with that kind of stuff. So they decided it was better to say, nah, lower the resolution a bit, guarantee the 60, And then if they want to alter the settings to drop a little bit of frames for more resolution, that's fine. But yeah, it's the whole, especially when it comes to console gaming, the whole thing of frames kind of gets me to begin with, just because like no TV that anybody has bought that says it's 240 hertz refresh rate or 120 hertz refresh rate is actually 240 or 120. The TVs, like, to get those kind of refresh rates, you're looking at a smaller form factor monitor that's going to be super expensive for the size, because that's just where the technology's at right now. Every single one of those TV manufacturers on that, and they even refer to it as an advertised refresh rate, not an actual refresh rate. There's always an asterisk or something else that tells you, hey, realistically it's like 30 or 60 frames per second, but we included these 8 different technologies that we made up that we think accounts for the difference and makes it feel like 120. So we're going to advertise it as 120. So the debate gets kind of silly in my mind. And even though, like, I'm a performance gaming kind of person, I love my frames, there are games where frames aren't as important to me. Like when I'm playing RPGs, visually striking type of games, like 60 frames is fine for me. I'm okay with dropping below that even at some points if it means, you know, bigger, prettier colors and deeper, richer shadows and that kind of stuff. Where frames really matter to me is when I'm playing Overwatch, when I'm playing Valorant, Counter-Strike, those kind of competitive things where the frames give me a competitive advantage. It's not just about how good it looks, it's about actually impacting my ability to play the game. That's where I think frames really start to matter. Like, obviously, it's awesome to have both. 4K, true 4K resolution at actual 240 hertz refresh rate would be amazing. But the fact of it is, it's not realistic for most people, unless you can go to like Falcon Northwest and drop 20 grand on a PC and then another 5 grand on the corresponding monitor that can support that resolution and frame rate. You're arguing about things that are so beyond your realm of actual attainability, like just being silly. My main thing is turn the game on your TV, start playing it. If it jitters, if it stutters, yep, there's a problem. That's not okay. We shouldn't be having this. But if it looks good to you and it feels good to you, are you really going to turn on the frame counter and be like, it hit 59 one time. This is ridiculous.
Hey,
I'm out.
some
I can't
gamers,
do this anymore.
Some gamers, especially on PC, they don't play without that thing, man. They need to know.
Yeah, like I said, I'll admit when I'm playing Valorant, I have that up there in the top left, and I watch it because my frames matter for my aim and where I'm seeing their head being at on my screen. It's important in that aspect. But when you're sitting there playing, you know, Final Fantasy 16. If you drop from 61 frames to 58 frames, your eye is not going to freaking notice that, man. Just enjoy the game. Like, as long as it's playable and it looks good and it feels good, stop worrying about a number that's not going to actually matter to you.
So while
what's kind of made me laugh about all this is, Fame bringing up Yakuza, is Yakuza's already been out for a year. Yakuza's not a new game. Yakuza 7, at least, is not a new game. It's already been out. All the patches, all the things are going to happen. They've already decided, it's going to be on new current gen stuff, but it's going to be the same game it was a year ago. Or at least it's a year old in Japan, I should say. It's already had its trial runs there. So it's like, come on, guys. Just a 5-minute Google search will figure out all the kinds of things you try to argue against. But you want to read headlines.
I do want to ask, while we're still on this topic, and I kind of wanted to kind of switch the games and come back to you, Miles. So we talked about Dirt 5 just a little bit, tad bit earlier. And so while we're on the topic of frames, we know this gen, at the end of this gen, 4K became the buzzword. The resolution was really super important to where developers were making sacrifices in certain areas to make sure they hit that highest resolution possible, or 4K possible, because it was the big buzzword. Going into this current gen, it seems like that focus has shifted to frames per second. And so I kind of want to get your thoughts on how you think the developers will find that fine line, because one instance we saw with Dirt 5 is that when you go to 120 hertz mode, you lose the fans in the crowd in the scene. Well, on the 60 frames per second mode, you get the fans. So, like, at what point do we find this balance, or developers find this balance in between the two? Because it seems like no matter what the buzz terminology is, as gamers, something has been sacrificed.
Yeah, the biggest hurdle last gen was the CPU. So that's why Xbox specifically was pushing 4K so hard, because they had a GPU that was capable of delivering on that, on the 4K aspect of it, but their CPU could not handle 4K 60 for pretty much anything. You had some outliers like Gears 5 that were able to do like kind of dynamic 4K, but yeah, the CPU kind of bottleneck was the biggest hurdle of last gen. So these devs are going to have to find a middle ground, because unless you have a really ridiculously capable rig, like the 4K 60, like max settings games, like most games are not going to be running at max settings 4K 60. Like most people who have high-end PCs are not running games at max settings at 4K 60. So I know that's the target for a lot of these developers, but they're really going to have to kind of use some smart kind of background tricks and techniques to deliver on 4K 60. And it's not going to be max settings. It's not going to be like beyond max settings on PC. It's going to be 4K 60 with some kind of compromises, if that's really the target. So again, to touch on the previous point, that's why I'm excited we have more options. Like if you want to go for the max like graphical setting and that's the way you want to play the game, give me that option, but also give me an option that's going to lock that frame rate, even if you're dropping the resolution or if you're taking people out of the crowd. Because like for me personally, when you're playing Dirt, you're probably not going to look at the people in the crowd.
Right?
Is he eating Doritos?
The freeze framing and you're pausing like
You
on a
you're
trailer.
crash into
Like,
something.
exactly.
You're
So
doing
it's like
something
those.
wrong if you see them.
Well, it's cool and it adds to the immersion. Like when you're playing it, when you're feeling the game, that's probably not a deciding factor of whether or not you're going to enjoy it. Like if they cut the crowd in half, but
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that we don't. I don't want the big shift to either side with this frame rate or the resolution. If it comes to it, heck, give us a dynamic 4K at a rock solid 60 frames per second, and I would call this gen a win, right? I don't want to say,
Exactly.
well, it has to be native 4K, well, it has to be 120 frames per second. Me somewhere in the middle, I think everyone would be happy if it's a consistent native 4K or dynamic 4K with a solid 60 frames per second. Everyone would be happy. 60, even though for a lot of PC gamers, 60 is old news. For the old console heads like myself, 60 still good. Even
60 is so good.
60
Come on.
still good.
60's banging.
60 frames per second is that girl like you liked her in high school, but you really couldn't get her. And she maybe had a baby, and she maybe smoked a little bit, but she's still cute. Like she's still cute. Like I still want you. Like come here. Like. Give me a hug.
Some people still figure out how hard it is to force some games into 60 FPS on certain hardware. Like, I told you, Fame, Friday I spent all day forcing Red Dead, because I was like, oh, I like it, but let me try to see what I can do with it. Red Dead into a new lane. And it took me all day to get it to 70, and I was like, oh, yeah. The people that are screaming the loudest about, I want this, they're not going to play at that. They just want to complain. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, it's just confirmation bias is what a lot of it is. Just people want somebody to look bad and somebody else to look good, regardless of what you like. And
So, yeah, they feel justified in the decision they made. Like, haha, I was right for choosing Sony. When really there's no right or wrong. Buy the one you like and play the games you want. Like just like have fun.
It's
supposed to be
so
about.
exhausting, but I don't know. Everyone wants what it really comes down to, and this is kind of like some psychology, is people want to take their money because money is like a big important factor to a lot of people, and they want to feel like the money that they spent has more value than the money that someone else spent, regardless of whether it's true or not, whether or not objectively that matters more. They just need to feel in some capacity that the money that they spent went further than the money someone else spent. It's unhealthy. It's very unhealthy.
The Joneses.
Shout out to the chat. I want to clarify why we're here. It wasn't my comment about the girl you used to like and now she has kids and smokes a bunch of cigarettes wasn't a knock on children. I have children. No. I love children. Like that wasn't a knock.
You
So.
you love your daughter. You go to war with your son. But
That's
Chad,
true.
I kid you not. I think his daughter could walk up with a knife, stab him in cold blood, and he'd be like, "Oh, baby, that's so cute. Your first stabbing," and he'd just hug her up. It's so wonderful.
I'm not gonna chat. They was it 2 weeks ago? I was hanging out with Fame. We were doing some level 1 gaming stuff, and he's like, you know what? Today I was gonna go to work. I was gonna go play on my Switch at lunchtime. I couldn't find my Switch. Like, I don't know where. I remember where I put it because I don't misplace tech. And then I get home and I ask, my son where it is, and he pulls it out of his backpack. I was like, see, your daughter wouldn't do that.
Whoa, see,
if she
Didn't
did,
ask,
he'd
his
be
son
like,
just
"That's
took
okay.
his Switch.
That's okay, baby.
I
I'm
want-
gonna let you borrow it anyway."
because it seems like I want to pause the gaming thing for a second, right? Because I see something happening in the chat, and I take full responsibility for it, right? Because I think my analogy was interpreted incorrectly. So I apologize
This is
for
not
the
a
analogy,
biological
but
conversation.
I don't
This
want
is a
the
gaming analogy.
I don't want the conversation to be twisted and construed in the chat. So everyone kind
Especially
of
for the
chill,
Spotify listeners.
right? So I'll take the L on the head. Bad analogy. Where I was going with that wasn't what I wanted everyone to take it. I hope everyone knows that that's not what that was. So I see that there's kind of a war going back and forth in the chat, and I don't want
Guys,
I don't
come
want
on,
that
it's
one,
never
right?
about outside
love.
factors. Everything we talk about, unless it's business practices, is about gaming. It's about the love of gaming. This is why we sit every week and argue about gaming, because we love it, we appreciate it, we understand things about it. It's never about, oh, children are this, children are that. Oh, this person is this. No, this person that. No. The only people we rip on is Matt Booty and Jeff Keighley. That's it.
If anyone's offended by the poor analogy of the girl you used to like and
Grow
having
up.
a kid and smoking cigarettes, no, I'm gonna apologize because
Grow up.
I understand everyone sees things differently. However, I just want you guys to know that we joke on this podcast and we have fun. Never take anything said here to I don't want you guys to be going at it in the chat. So for everyone in the chat that's going on with that, I hope you guys are kind of just it's all love, it's all good.
Grow up and move on.
If you love
Anyway,
kids, love
Miles,
kids.
why are
If
you
don't,
looking so
know.
good?
Just do. I did this all one-handed too, so not bad.
Can we get a product placement?
okay.
What kind of camera you got,
He-
man?
He did it one-handed because his arm is in a sling, not one-handed because y'all are freaky pervs and y'all just trying to do some weird stuff. He had surgery last week. He's in a
Podcast
sling.
would be freaky though.
Now, the
But yeah.
reason he had to have that surgery, that story, no.
That story is on his OnlyPants.
What
okay?
happened to that hand was, ho-ho.
Oh.
Jesus Christ, you guys. Oh.
I'm
Sorry.
surprised you
man.
just that, because I just be like, whatever. I don't have patience for anybody as I've gotten older.
All right, so let's move on. So I think we talked about this a little bit before. I think we may have touched on this just a little bit
You may have
last
touched
week.
this title of your sex tape.
Yeah, a little bit last week. But I kind of, if we didn't, I want to revisit it. I kind of want to get Miles' thoughts on it as well. So, as we know, and now that I'm saying this, I know if I have to talk about this a little bit. But as we know, Hugger loves Anthem, and a lot of people fight ill Anthem. I love the Avengers. I play this game every single day.
Falling into that hole.
However, on
One of less
PC,
than 1,000 people. No.
on PC, it's less than 1,000 people concurrently playing. When I play on Xbox, I hop in and I'm having no issues finding a party. Like, people are jumping, randoms are jumping in, or I'm having friends that I play with regularly jumping in. But really quickly, so I kind of think we talked about this a little bit. And I was talking with you, Miles. Is there any sort of road to redemption for Marvel's Avengers? Because the developers Square Enix already came out and said, just like Anthem, they said they'll be back. We'll get them back. Everyone will come back. And
They'll come crawling back
I don't
once
know-
we start charging them $10 per character.
I don't know if they've come back or not. Do you think Avengers has an opportunity to redeem itself? Because I mean, it is really hated right now by a lot of people.
Yeah, I was pretty bummed by the multiplayer of Avengers. The campaign was fine. It was kind of whatever. Like, that's not the reason that I wanted to play that game. The multiplayer itself was very bare bones, and that's why nobody's sticking around, because it's super, super repetitive. And I know they have a roadmap of characters that are coming out, and those characters will be free technically, but I hope there's more beyond that, because just characters alone are not going to be enough to pull people back. But at the same time, it's Marvel, so they have a huge install base automatically. So it's not like Anthem where you have to sell somebody on this whole new world and idea. Like, it's Marvel. Like, anybody can pick it up and play. Like, they add your favorite character randomly. You're going to dive back in, even if it's just for a couple days. But I don't know. It just seems like the idea of the multiplayer wasn't fully fleshed out, and I hope that's something that they get to, but it's probably honestly going to take a year from what I've seen. Like, there's a lot of work that needs to be done to make that game fun for anyone.
But it's fun for me, Miles. It's fun for I'm anyone. When I say I hope it's fun for somebody, because I'm somebody, baby.
Take away Avengers, take away Marvel. If this was a different game that was not Marvel branded, would you like it? Would you care about it at all?
Hey, bro, don't be making good points on my podcast. Don't you fucking come make good points on this podcast.
What was it? Was it Bleeding Edge? Is that the one? That
he wanted us to play that. Yeah.
I wanted Bleeding Edge. I mean, I like Bleeding Edge, but nobody else does. So
yeah, I played it a few weeks back, and it was like I sat in the lobby forever. And I played it back.
Rogue Company. He wanted me to play. Well, I play Rogue Company on PC, and
Rogue Company is fun.
I was like, no.
They just have to fix a lot of issues.
Fun.
It's fun. Yeah, it plays well.
Avengers.
You know, I hate that that's become such a common thing for us nowadays. Is the game is like we say it's good, it's okay, it's fun. But they need to fix a lot. Like, what happened to a game actually being a finished product? And like, here it is.
There's no money in that.
Those days are dead.
It's done. Not here's 70% of it, and we're gonna try and trickle the other 30% in without you noticing before you get to that part.
Look at FIFA Legacy on the Switch. It's basically FIFA 16. But they're charging a full price for it.
I'm sorry, what?
They're calling it Legacy technically, though. So
it's true. It is Legacy, but it is FIFA, 16. It's running on the 16 engine on Switch, and
what is it?
Nothing's changed from 19.
It's like that tweet I put out from the LV1 account the other day, where I was like, you wake up, it's a brand new day. The year's 3057. Humanity's come so far, we survived.
Skyrim.
You log into the Nintendo eShop. And Breath of the Wild is still $59.99.
Yep.
That game will forever be $60.
Is coming to your fridge.
The game will forever be $60. My man K Megan in the chat say, "Leave Bleeding Edge alone." Leave Bleeding Edge alone.
I love Bleeding Edge. I will die on the Bleeding Edge hill, but
look,
nobody plays.
Bleeding hearts can go commiserate about Bleeding Edge somewhere else. All right.
I told you know what, and this is my just desserts because Fame, all y'all's was. Oh, you play Anthem? It's like, yes, I'm playing Anthem as somebody who... BioWare is my hometown. BioWare, here I met Casey. I've met all of them. But you guys know I'll call them out on their shite. Because Anthem, me and you have some things to talk about with Anthem. And I hope they don't mess up Dragon Age 4 because, I want it so good. But you guys were making fun of me. And now Fame, he was like hand in his head. He's like, Hugger, I gotta tell you something. I'm like, what? I get where you're at with Anthem.
I get it now. I get it. I do.
It's like an addiction.
Is Anthem.
Avengers is my anthem. It really is. Like, I play every day. I'm working to get my 4th character power up to 150. Like, I am like grinding in this game.
I have a hope for every single game that comes that it will eventually turn itself around. But I honestly don't know. Well, no, I don't know if Avengers can turn itself around because Anthem, most of the things you can earn is free. They're like, if Final Fantasy can turn around, if Elder Scrolls, because I've played Elder Scrolls since beta, that game was awful, and now it's good now. And I feel Anthem can turn itself around. But if they keep going, Avengers keeps going with that, I'm gonna charge you with everything. They gotta drop that and kind of go with like almost a half free-to-play model because it's not gonna work if they keep going with the model they're working on.
Speaking of... oh, no, go ahead, brother.
I was going to say, the problem with Marvel is they're stuck because of licenses.
Yeah.
Like, they have to charge because they're losing money, basically, on every single character that they put in the game. So, that's what sucks. That there's probably never going to be a affordable option to unlock everything in that. So, they're really kind of stuck with the diehards who are going to pay the $10 battle pass per character, but Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
sucks.
I'm currently
Yeah.
working on an article for the past couple of weeks on my how to fix Anthem things that are needed. I have a pretty sweet thumbnail, by the way, as well for that.
Poppy, you
article.
can't be you
But
can't be talking about Anthem.
I am
You're talking
listen.
about Avengers.
Did I say Anthem? I meant to say Avengers. Sorry. They're
Yeah,
starting
I
to
was like,
bunch
you can't
together.
be talking about Anthem.
Avengers,
fine.
right? I love the game. It has a lot of issues. I don't want it to die. I want them to deep fake. I'm so sorry.
Black Widow.
No,
Tobey Maguire?
no. Oh, I'm about to get my black card revoked.
Black Panther.
Yes.
Okay.
How did you
God.
not?
Cut it. Cut the feed.
Cut it.
Cut the
Yeah,
bail out.
I was about to do this. Try to find a way. Like I couldn't think. I'm looking at him. Like I'm looking at the character,
brain,
and
yeah.
I just can't. Like I want to say,
Yep.
Not the Wakanda
Delilah?
thing.
oh yeah, they did this. Oh no, I would
Not, you would have gone
Yes.
with angry
Wakanda
ghost
forever.
like the cat, the panther, Black Panther. Yes.
squirrel girl.
Delilah, I did see those concept arts. Chris Daly, I think his name. He posted it on his because he's the one in charge of the Anthem reboot. I did see those. Anthem will come back eventually. Oh,
He doing the
K-Mega
cat
saying,
pose.
"Cut your mic, boy. You don't even know who
Yo,
Black Panther
my
is."
black card just got taken. Yes, I want them to deep fake Black Panther with Chadwick Boseman. I think that would be if you can talk to his family or whoever's in it, if you can get him in the game, unlock everything, so no one can have to
Yeah, I was
spend a
about to say,
dollar.
we talked about this. If
Don't
they're gonna
spend
do that,
a penny.
especially in his likeness, you cannot charge for it.
Yeah,
because then you're
No.
taking something that's supposed to be good and you're making it disgusting and monetary.
I love
And
it
that's
when
not
people
Which-
are immortalized in video games. Like he will live on forever in a video game.
It
I love
depends. Because that Shadow of Shadow of Mordor, where they charged $10 for the guy who passed away. It's like,
yeah.
no.
If you absolutely are gonna do something like that, you better tell me and then put the receipts up afterwards. 100% of the proceeds go to some charity or something that he
Yeah.
founded or something like that.
that would be
Because you
awesome.
profiting off of that is disgusting.
I think the charity, the money for anything like that needs to go into some mental health right now because we in a weird time, y'all.
It's only gonna get worse.
Unprecedented
Oh.
times.
And Canada, we're kind of exploding with COVID cases, so we're about to go back into lockdown. So
Oh no!
take
The
care of your mental
social-
health, y'all.
The moose distancing didn't help.
My God. See, you laugh, but I wouldn't get within 1,000 feet of a moose, man. Those things are
Those things are
dangerous.
huge. Yeah, they're
Like
terrifyingly huge.
1,000 pounds,
You always forget how big they are until you see like one next to a car, and you're like, whoa.
right? They're like 12 feet tall, and it's like, oh my God, you could kill me.
So,
anytime.
last topic before we get to our recommendations. Godfall, it's supposed to be coming out soon, and we just heard that it's going to have a PlayStation Plus requirement.
Mm-hmm.
Am I tripping? PlayStation.
No.
There's a asterisk that they've
Yeah,
clarified.
They showed they showed like the box art for it, and it has the little panels on the back. Supports 1 to 3 players, blah blah blah. And one of them says PS subscription or PS Plus sub required. Another one says no offline mode. So immediate nail bite reaction or a knee-jerk reaction is holy crap, that sounds awful. But like you said, I think there's an asterisk there, and we just couldn't read the tiny print. But it certainly does not look good at a glance.
So my
I mean,
question
Reggie
is,
Pitchford posted some pictures too.
Miles, tell me that this
Randy.
isn't Warframe.
So the dev said come out and said that you can play single player without a PS Plus subscription. So they did clarify that. So for people who want to play this game solo for whatever God fallen reason, you will not have
This
to
boy.
pay for PlayStation Plus. But that being
Please
said,
come
like
back.
PlayStation has made it like so that you have to pay for PlayStation Plus for pretty much all online games. It's a paid game as well. So I don't know what the big like hubbub was about. it's a multiplayer focused game. Again, like you can play it single player, I guess, but it is a game that's designed to be co-op. So I don't know.
I don't know if I can have you and Kevin on the same podcast. All these like dad puns you guys seem to pull out, like every other topic is pretty awesome. I actually love it. I'm not good at that jokes at all, but I don't know, man. I can't seem to get myself excited for Godfall. Like I want to get excited for it. I've lately, I don't know if it's the weirdo me besides like Avengers, of course. I've been really into like playing alone in like single player games. So I was a little bit bummed that this like, you know, that originally you heard that you couldn't really play it, you know, offline by yourself. Like you had to be online. I was a little bit bummed about that, but that's good news. I hadn't seen. I guess we're living under a rock, and Hugger must have just kissed somebody because she is smiling through the roof as she comes back. You gonna kiss Miles? Oh. But yes, we're talking Godfall.
I'll kiss Miles. We're talking Godfall. Oh, I thought we were talking about kissing Miles. Okay.
Any interest in Godfall, Hugger? You have an excitement for Godfall? We're getting closer to it. We're starting to hear more about it. We're hearing that the PS Plus subscription is no longer a mandate. You can play this game alone. Any excitement for this game, and do you think it's anything more than? I'm sorry, and it's not. This isn't. My mic is too far. I used to grab my mic when I really want to say something like intense.
When he gets hot,
I usually grab it right here, and so I got to rearrange my desk. But like, I want to get excited, but like this is, and not to make fun of it. Like this seems like Warframe. It looks like a pretty Warframe.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It looks like a pretty Warframe, but at the same time, Warframe is always improving. And I feel like once they realize that Godfall, people don't want to buy into Godfall, it's going to suffer. More so than Anthem or Avengers, you know? I like Warframe for the simple fact it's free. You can play it anywhere. They're working on cross saves and all that stuff. Godfall is going to be interesting. Is it going to be another like a Code Vein where it just dies in obscurity, or is it going to be, you know,
Code Vein was a thing? I forgot about that game.
It died
quick,
right? I don't know what to feel about it because I've only seen the glamorized trailers. Once I see some gameplay, I'll be like, oh, okay. But I'm definitely not going to be buying this because I already have this on PC. Maybe we're spoiled or maybe we're not, but I have 10 games like this already. I don't want to play this. I'll play something else instead.
Really quick to the chat, Reggie Butler made a comment that I think is true. Why are we so quick to write a game off? Try it first. I understand that. If it was
not when they're $80,
if we were in the demo disc days, right? Remember the demo disc days? I could try it out first. Now it's like, hey, spend $80, and I hope you bought it from. I hope your whatever console you bought it from has a good return policy, or if it's a guarantee to love it at GameStop, because you're gonna spend $60 or $80, you're not getting that money, and it's $70 on PS4 and $60 on PC, and that's the issue with so many people are more conscientious of what they're buying now. Because before, like, oh, that new game bought, like, I bought Technomancer day one, fam. I threw $60 in the trash.
Yep.
Technomancer, I bought it day one, like a fool, because I was like, oh, this looks good. But I think gamers, it's not that people are quick to write a game off. Gamers are more conscientious on how they spend their money for the most part, and they much rather wait for, oh, Hugger's going to stream Godfall. Let me watch her stream and get a better idea on whether or not this is a purchase for me. Not saying Godfall is going to be a bad game, but I want to see other people actually play it, not chopped up pieces of artwork. Because that's what they make trailers to make it look good, to make you want to play it. I want to see.
That's how they got us with Anthem.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
I'll say this. I've said this on stream before. Is unless I can get I might have to actually get Fame to order it, and I'll pay him back for it. Unless I can get the collector's editions of Valhalla, although those PC specs are kind of ridiculous, and Cyberpunk, I don't plan on buying those games day one. In Canada, they're sold out. Canada always gets screwed. When you guys say, oh, it's $80, no, it's $90 for Canada.
Well, it's because
Who
you guys
was it
have
that we...
monopoly money, okay? It's not our fault.
That's true. But even digital sales are still $10 more.
True.
Don't understand it. So I'm like, okay, you have your fun, but Fame's right. In the demo days or demo disc days, which if you guys don't know what those are, you too young to be watching this. I would gladly drop the money, but now I gotta spend a whole $80 and then I'm gonna go to my EB Games, which is GameStop here in Canada, and I'm gonna get $2 back. No. It's not gonna happen nowadays.
And then they'll sell it for 50
or $5 store credit.
Right?
Oh,
right.
If you're a power-up reward,
if you're a member.
If you remember, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you wait 3, 4, 6 months, and you get the gold edition with all the DLC. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna get it anyway. Do I want to spend this money to get the collector's edition, or do I want to get the gold edition that has, all the
the
stuff?
actual game finished?
$33 I bought Spider-Man today.
That's expensive.
It's Canada.
Pricey.
It's expensive.
Good God.
It was like $15 US.
$33. I got me some Spider-Man.
So
I just save your money, y'all. The only way these companies are gonna listen to you, Avengers, Anthem, BioWare, EA, let's not get started. EA, vote with your wallet. We changed the Sonic movie because we voted with our wallet.
And it
vote
was great.
with your wallet.
Before we get to our suggestions, one more comment in the chat I want to get out. Hugger, this comment was to you, and it said to stay away.
Nani?
Lizzie God says Miles is his. You cannot have him. He just letting you know to back up off of Miles.
Because y'all know I'll go for Spider-Gwen any day of the week.
Miles is embarrassed, like, oh my God, what? Why did nobody tell me about this nonsense?
Miles, like, I'm never coming back. Y'all got some weird ass people
on the internet,
getting away from me.
Definitely not the
He's
weirdest thing I've seen or heard.
That's true. But
So
he's just too handsome to be on this podcast.
We're gonna start with our
taking my shine.
with our suggestions. We do want to start with our guests. So Miles, it can be one from each one or just one from either video game, anime, or movie that you would suggest for someone who's watching or listening on Spotify to watch or play.
Well, it tis the season for spooks, so I'll keep it nice and spooky. I'm a big horror game guy, big horror movie guy. Recently, I watched. It's a Shudder original, so this is going to be really niche. I don't know how many people out there sub to Shudder, but it's called Color Out of Space, and it's a Nick Cage meets H.P. Lovecraft story, and it's just like a 2-hour acid trip. Super weird, super disgusting. There's a scene where this mom and son fuse into like this blob spider entity. Worth a watch if you want something just dark and weird. Plus, you get classic Nick Cage freakouts. There's a scene where he's just screaming and punching the roof of a car for like 2 minutes straight. Just
normal for him.
Cinema gold.
But is his hair in bird form? Is the question.
It's really just terribly like combed back. Like he's trying to hang on. He's trying to hang on to what he's got, and it doesn't look good. But
good old
Color Out of Space. If you want a good/weird horror movie, that's one for sure.
How much is Shudder? Like
it's
$10
like
$5
$5 a month or something. It's dirt cheap.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
I might have to do
If you love horror movies, like it's a must. Like their catalog is huge, super curated. But I'm a big horror nerd, so gaming wise, Phantasmagoria. I always
Phantasmagoria is a different game.
Phasmagoria, I think, is how you say it. Yeah. It is the dumbest game I've played in a long time, but it's super fun. Like the character animation is just super janky. Everyone just bends at the hip and the waist. But you're basically ghost hunting with your friends. So if you have a group of friends you love, like getting scared together, like it's a super good game. It's like $13 on Steam. Terrible. Don't expect a good game by any means, but god damn, is it fun?
Floor Hugger, what you got this week, sis?
I will say, if you probably have Amazon, at least in Canada, kind of. You might get some subscription to Shudder. It's Sudder, not Suttr. You use weird
Shudder.
spelling. Shudder. For like Miles said, tis the season to be spooky. So you can either watch, some Underworld, or you could go with some good old raw zombie, House of the Thousand Corpses. Those are always my favorite. Devil's Rejects. Get you into some spooky season. And if you want to go with spooky TV shows, Are You Afraid of the Dark? I don't know where you'll find it. It was like a Canadian show. If you want the
throwback.
American version of that.
Yeah.
Goosebumps. Goosebumps scared the crap out of me as a kid. Go watch those. And for video games, I would say, it's still going on the spooky thing. Condemned or Stalker. Stalker is kind of spooky. Or Alice Madness Returns. I haven't played the first Alice, so I would recommend Madness Returns.
I heard that game was legit. I saw someone playing it. I was like, oh my god, how did I miss this? I need to download
America
it.
McGee knows how to make a game.
Citizen Snips. What you got?
So I think this is one of the rare instances we'll actually have all three to recommend for the first time in a while. I'll start with anime. It's a show that I watched. I don't think I ever fully finished it. I don't even think it was done airing when I started watching it originally, but I saw that the second season was coming out or is airing currently, so I started to go back and start watching it again. A show called The Irregular at Magic High School. Pretty fun little anime. Nothing groundbreaking, but it's got a neat little concept about like magicians in kind of a modern age. And the combat fight sequences, animation kind of stuff is pretty cool, I think. It does have a bit of a bro sis-con thing. Like, they play it off as a joke throughout most of the anime, but there's some times where you're like, man, that sister really does kind of like her brother a bit too much. But it doesn't get like gropey or weird or anything like that. So it's nothing super sexual, but there are times when you're like, that's probably not a normal relationship for a brother and sister. But if you can look past that, and it's not that egregious, I don't think. The show itself is passable. It's worth the watch, I think. So I've been watching that. Excuse me. A buddy of mine put me onto something on Netflix. That's like it's a collection of animated shorts that all are completely independent of each other and range from like hand-drawn animation to full-on super awesome-looking 3D animated stuff. Called Love, Death, and Robots. So if you haven't checked that out, it is
so
pretty
good.
awesome. Warning for this one, it does have some very mature content in some of the shorts. Some nudity, stuff like that. So it's not something you'll want to watch with your kids or anybody under appropriate age. But for adults, it can be some good entertainment. I think it has some really good storytelling and stuff in it as well. Some neat stories and kind of unique concepts. And then for a video game, I'm going to recommend everybody go out there, especially because it's free to play. Go check out Genshin Impact. Spoiler alert, I am working on a review for Genshin Impact for our website. So I'll go much more into detail on that in the review, of course. But for starters, I'll go ahead and tell you it's worth a hop on and check out on PC. If you're playing strictly on mobile, I'll get into that in more detail in the review. But for PC, it's free. Give it a shot if you like anime. It's basically anime the RPG, so it's pretty neat in that regard. So I'd say check that out.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. I particularly do not have a game to recommend because all I play is Avengers now. Avengers has to be placed dauntless for me. It is what it is. For shows, since I want to continue with the spooky thing because it's booby month according to Hugger.
It's booby month.
You guys remember this? It's called Tales from the Crypt. If you ever get a chance to watch any of the Tales from the Crypt,
horrifying.
check it out. Yeah, that thing traumatized me as a kid. Like when he laying back and he come up,
puppet thing.
yeah, scared the crap out of me as a kid. And also, if you want to continue to be scared, along with what's going on right now with Big Rona, if you have Amazon Prime, there's a show called Utopia. Watch Utopia. It would really make you begin to think about how diseases are man-made, and I don't want to spoil the plot.
It's like the Black Mirror of our day.
I don't want to spoil the plot on why this disease is going around, but it's one of those shows where when I got there, I was like, It's kind of like how Thanos had a reason to do what he was doing. You're like, I kind of agree with Thanos a little bit. I felt that way in Utopia. I was like, I probably would do the same thing. So it's definitely check out Utopia. I believe it's maybe a couple of weeks old. It's maybe about 7 to 8 episodes, but it's definitely worth checking out, especially during the times of Big Rona. It's definitely worth the watch.
Also, I didn't even think of this. You in the spooky season, mature warning and also like trigger warning for a lot of stuff. The ABCs of Death. It's every single they had 26 directors or however many letters are in an alphabet, whatever. I don't care. Every single director did their own short for things. So there's like horrifying things. There's disturbing things, but ABCs of Death, Guillermo del Toro's in it. It's really good, but it's you got to be prepared for it.
F is for fart is all I'm gonna say about that. Like, such a weird
because it's the
series.
Season, if you guys really want to be terrified, if you really want to be scared out of your minds, just watch the news. Yeah.
I was really waiting for something.
It's got topical social commentary, y'all. The world is jacked up. That's why
political zinger.
Yo, shout out to
When horror
Demigod.
movies seem normal.
Shout out to Demigod who couldn't be with us tonight, but his recommendation this week was Sekiro for this game. TV was Cabanari of the Iron Fortress. Am I saying that
that's
right?
a good one. Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress. Yeah, that's a really good one.
And then his movie was Evil Dead 2013.
Oh, the
that's
Evil
so
Dead
good.
remake. Masterpiece.
See, Miles is giving you the chef's kiss. Mwah.
One of the best remakes of all time, hands down. That movie is
And there's
near
a lot of them.
perfection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Increasingly so.
I have
But
to
that
say,
one was like one of the first.
I have to say, and this is to no disrespect to anyone who's ever been on this podcast, Miles, you're probably my favorite guest of all time, dude.
Dang, you say that to
you're
all
you
the
didn't
boys,
like
don't you?
Miss Clicks talking about Captain America.
Dude, I love Miss Click. I love Miss Click, but I also love Miles now. Here's the thing. I have recency bias. Like, really bad.
That's
like,
true.
really bad.
Think
Like,
that you could admit that.
You also, done this so long that you can understand when people vibe with us. And
yes.
Miles has been vibes.
I'm all
Miles
about
vibes
the
with us.
vibes, bro.
Which basically means he's weird. As
Title
heck.
you sexy.
Yeah.
If you
Like I
fit
said,
in
I'm
with us,
all
man,
about
that's
being weird.
Worrying.
So we do have his Twitter on the screen, but Miles, where can other people find you?
Mostly Twitter, yeah. If you want to chat with me about Xbox or horror movies or metal or whatever weird shit you do on Twitter, just at Miles Dompierre. Keep it real simple. Follow me there. That's pretty
You can't
much
read.
Windows Central Gaming on YouTube. Pretty much the guy building up that channel, trying to make that like its own standalone thing. So if you're interested in primarily Xbox focused stuff, we do some pretty spicy videos. Got some gamer ASMR over there.
Wait, you mean to tell me Windows Central Gaming is biased towards Xbox? Wow. Unbelievable.
I know.
Egregious.
People, bias isn't a bad thing. I don't know
It's
what
not.
people get so spicy
It's not.
about it.
Acknowledged and admitted bias is not a bad
Exactly.
thing. If you try and hide it and act like it doesn't exist, pause.
And the bias where you
Shut
can
it
be
down.
like, you can point them out to be like, hey, you're doing something dumb, like I do with Bioware. That's okay.
Yeah,
Don't be one of
exactly.
those people that is a knob at you.
Accountability is key.
Everyone
Oh,
needs
that's so
an
sexy.
accountability buddy.
Accountability buddy. And once again, Miles'
Hate that
Twitter
word.
handle is on screen. It's right underneath his head, as you can
Ooh.
see. Make sure you guys will give him a follow. Floor Hugger, when are you streaming again?
Yeah.
People want to know, when's the next stream?
Maybe tonight or maybe tomorrow, yeah. You guys you horrified me playing Resident Evil 7, so I kind of had to hate you for a bit. So maybe tomorrow or tonight, I don't know. Pay attention.
Oh, ambiguous.
That's
And-
how I roll.
Citizen Snips, when is the next time you will be clamming people up on your stream, sir?
Next stream for me is going to be tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, where I once again throw myself into the gauntlet that is Valorant and get frustrated for sucking at a game that I play once a week, like I should get good at it by not playing. So, always fun to watch. And then Fridays, Fuel Pugs. If you guys are Overwatch fans, I do host pickup games for the Dallas Fuel Discord. Those are always a ton of fun. You've never seen such a large group of people all play Overwatch with the sole intent of feeding their brains out. So it's a bunch of fun. It's a bunch of fun. So come hang with us, both at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you don't come check me out, go check Hugger out, go check Fame out, go check Demi out. We've got tons of people putting that cool content.
We have a lot of I mean, I don't count me. I stream like once a month, but between you, Hugger, Demi, Leah, Lisi, and now Dallas is starting to stream. Like we have like 4 of our main people or 4 of our people who are Twitch affiliates. Like the streaming thing is starting to go for you guys. I'm super excited. Once again, Miles,
more coming.
Yes. We are in infancy. Level 1 Gaming is still a baby, and I kiss her every night because I love her. I kiss her every night because I love her, and I love watching my team grow. I love watching the website grow. Miles, I just love watching you grow, man. Just from the first time I've seen you on Twitter, and then from stop. Stop!
I didn't even catch that one at first. I was like, pause. Oh, okay,
Stop.
bro. Okay,
My brain, I'm sorry. I'm on the nasty bit, yeah?
Miles.
Love you. Sarange.
Miles. Oh, man. Miles, you were amazing.
Anyway, we were having a moment, right?
We weren't having a moment.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to...
Title of your sex tape.
I almost said something else. Can't say nothing on this podcast, right? You can't say anything on this podcast.
I let you get away with so much.
But,
don't even play.
Miles, you're freaking awesome. Continue to grow. Continue to do your thing. I am a big supporter of yours and your content and what you're doing with YouTube. I can't wait to see what you're doing next, man. Thank you so much for coming on and rocking with us, man. We hope you come back again. Hope we didn't scare you off.
Absolutely. Had a blast. Awesome. No, you guys are awesome. It's been fun. Appreciate you guys taking some time to get me on. Yeah, I'm around. Usually evenings are free, so I'll creep back in here. I'll do a little lurking in the future for sure.
My man. Hey, everyone's thing is underneath their box, so make sure you guys go check them out. Follow them on Twitch, Twitter, whatever the case may be.
Tomorrow.
And don't forget tomorrow, because we didn't have last week, and I apologize. Spectrum hates me, but tomorrow is the take.
Last week was hella dry for news, so
it was. But also Spectrum hates me. That's not
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. And I'll have my lighting fixed. I've moved everything down. Got a new desk. So I haven't actually fixed the lighting and stuff. So it'll be ready by tomorrow. But before I leave, I want to thank you guys once again, and congratulations, you guys leveled up to 129. This was the Double XP Podcast. Catch you guys tomorrow for Take 2. Catch you guys next Wednesday for Level 130. Do not forget to get all your game news from level1gaming.com, and make sure you watch and support everything Miles does at Windows Central Gaming, their website and their YouTube channel. We will see you guys next week. Onions!
Arigato.